I've decided to wade in on this one. Why? Not much else to talk about, really. Donald Trump is kind of like 50 Cent in a way. He has no chill. 50 Cent has no chill. Those aren't just my words. As not the comparison, but just the whole thing of him not having chill. 50 will just go hard on people. You ever see him on Instagram? He's got a problem with someone every week, and he will just go, alright. There is no line. There's no stopping point. There's no, alright, that's enough now. It's like, blah, 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 blah. Like, he really takes the whole, I can't remember which law it is in the 48 Laws of Power. But it's one where it's, snuff your enemy until no cinder is left glowing, burning. You snuff them. You just go, go, die. Snuff them out. And he just, he has no chill. Donald Trump is similar because he won't stop. He's like, fuck diplomacy. Fuck saying the right thing. I mean, and why would he really? Because that's what got him into power in the first place, isn't it? Like, that's how all this happened, was him just saying what the hell he liked. So I don't think you could expect him to sort of chill, because everything's sort of going well for him, isn't it? It's like, the economy's strong, and that's all that matters when it comes to politics, especially in America. When the economy's strong, it's fine. I mean, Labour government in the UK went out because, the recession had a hell of a lot to do with it. As soon as the recession hit, they were like, some people probably weren't too keen on having someone like David Cameron in power, but they probably thought, well, Conservatives have a better track record with the economy, maybe. I don't know. They were like, well, let's just give this geezer a shot because it's fucked. So, so he can say what the fuck he wants. Because if the economy tanks, then you tank, But why I'm wading in on this thing is because whenever Trump says infested, we know he's talking about people of colour. This is the mother of all assumptions. We live in a world of just news. Well, I know this is an opinion piece, but it's like the rhetoric is, we're just going to base everything on an assumption. I've heard so many assumptions made about what the geezer says, when the overtly things he says is pretty clear. I mean, we've already had an incident with him this week, where they, clipped something he said about being a first responder 9/11, when in fact he didn't say he was a first responder. He said, I was there. I wasn't a first responder, but they cut that bit out. They'll do anything. Everyone seems to be jumping on the race card hard at the moment. Since he was having a go at, the squad, whoever those nutters are. I mean, they're all nutters, innit? Trump, the squad, everyone else that seems to be wanting to go against him. A bunch of nutters. We're just living in nutterland, isn't it? But since then, it's like, let's just find everything that's racist. And the thing is, he will not stop going on. He just doubles down and goes, I just keep saying what I want. I'll keep saying what I want. Think what you want. It's a good attitude to have. It's like, do you know what? Think what you want, yeah. But I know my intentions. As long as you know your own intentions. Maybe not best for a world leader of a global superpower. But I don't know. But what do I know? But the thing is, talking about Baltimore, we don't know is that he's talking about people of colour, whatever. It's like you're just creating assumptions. There's so many assumptions about everything. Everything. Even down to look at the whole okay thing, right? Go on. Let's take a snapshot of me right now doing okay. Even down to the whole okay thing is like, people say, oh, it doesn't mean white supremacy. It means okay. But then some people have, 4chan spread it around that this means white supremacy, as a big old ha 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 ha. And then someone will be like, doing the okay thing, saying, yeah, but he means it as white supremacy. It's like, well, how do you know? You're just you're making so many assumptions right now. No, that's the way he means it. How the fuck do you know it's the way he means it? If it just suits you, that's the way they mean something, then that's what you're going to say. If it just suits you, oh, it suits me that's the thing. Do you know what I mean? It's like, oh, well, that suits me, fine. Well, that suits me. It's ridiculous. Now, look, I'm a big fan of The Wire, okay? So there's no segue into that. We're talking about the same thing. I'm a big fan of The Wire. And from watching The Wire, and obviously, it's done by people who know Baltimore very well, and it's renowned for its accuracy and its real-life portrayal, amongst other things. But that was like, some of its biggest points. Baltimore doesn't look good. It's quite surprising though, because I would want to go to Baltimore just because of The Wire. Like, you say, oh, there's that, oh, there is over there is where it hasn't really done it any harm, by showing it how it is, but it looks, it's gutter, and there is a thing with these Democrat-led cities that they're not good. They're not good, like Chicago, Baltimore. They've got a lot of problems. You look at Baltimore, as it's depicted, and it's like, this is a fucking rough place with like one of the highest murder, consistently the highest murder rate in America. It's like either Baltimore and then I think Washington, New Orleans, higher than Chicago. It's just Chicago's bigger, so it has more, but the murder rate is fucking high. And it's been like that for a long time, and it's like, how can you have these people, these leaders, just leave it that way, like have it that way? Just watch The Wire if you've never seen it. Watch The Wire and just go, this is why it's so fucked. And in The Wire they always say, it's predominantly, especially in the third series when there's someone running for mayor but he's white. But it's like they'll never vote for a white person. They'll never vote for a Republican. It's always black Democrats, and it's been run by that. And that is kind of true to form, because even the guy that played the black mayor in The Wire, I think he was mayor. He was like the real mayor. He was once mayor of Baltimore. And they go, yeah, this is how it is. We're a bunch of guns. Like, I don't know how they managed to do all that shit, but. It seems to me that the place could be called a shithole. Yeah, Manchester's a shithole. London's a fucking shithole. Like, London has lots of, everyone thinks, look at these bits of London. Like, I always say about London, me and a friend who was, at night, we go down by the river, up the no good, and you see all the bright twinkling lights, that sort of surround the Thames, and you look at it and you go, oh, it's like, it's a lie. Like, we say, this is a lie, because it sort of looks beautiful and that bit, but London is a shithole. I've always said that, and it used to be a shithole that I loved, until it just became silly. London's just silly now. It's just it's soulless now. It's just soulless, but it is a shithole. Don't get me wrong, there's plenty of shitholes. There's shitholes everywhere where there's great people and where there's great stuff going on, Do you know what I'm saying? Like, in order, like, think about great music. Well, great music doesn't come from, like, some pretty quaint city. It will come from a shithole, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it? Do you know what I mean? Like, we live in a shithole. We live in a shitty little town. What are we going to do? Let's make some songs. Like, great things come from shit things. Do you know what I'm saying? But this whole, look, to say, see, As in, I've never accused anyone of being prone to infestations, but if I were inclined to sink that low, I suspect my attention would be directed towards the 45th President of the United States. It's not all Donald Trump's fault. Who can blame anyone for spending most of their life in New York, the city I love, despite the fact that it harbours one rodent for every 4 people? Alright, New York's a shithole too. Trump hardly had a choice about moving to the White House in 2017, home for 2 centuries, reportedly to an unwanted population of rats, ants, and even raccoons. Yet it's hard to avoid holding Trump's directly responsible for the wider range of public health hazards reported at his luxury Mar-a-Lago resort. 78 were reported in 3 years into 2017, including soiled kitchen utensils and potentially parasite-affected smoked salmon. Okay. Hard, too, to ignore the fact that his son-in-law, Jared Kushner, has been described as a slum landlord for the multiple health and safety violations reported in his family's firm's 9,000 Baltimore properties, including mice, maggots, and mold. Now, I don't know anything about all this stuff. Okay. So it's pretty disgusting, enough to make you lose your appetite, but not to break your heart. That feat is reserved for Trump's knack, one has demonstrated many, many times of dehumanizing human beings, projecting the idea of infestation on their very existence. Now you're just fucking reaching. So first you're going, oh, how dare you say about Baltimore being, this rat-infested hellhole when you live here when there's loads of rats and you've got your son-in-law's, there's a slumlord, and I don't know. There's so many stuff that's a smear campaign. Who knows where the truth is and where the lie is? Who knows these days? And now you're going on to, yeah, but actually what you mean by infestation? It's like, what? Because let's be clear, when Trump talks about a place being infested, he means it's inhabited by people who are not white. Where did you cut that from? Do you know what I'm saying? When he talks about Mexicans, saying some are rapists, it's like I don't know exactly how that can come across as bad, but I've always said, some are rapists. It's like, well, what's your point? It's like some of everybody are rapists. Some people are rapists. It's like the most throwaway statement, but everyone went mad because I can't believe he said that. It's like, it's kind of a non-statement. It's like the proper reaction to it would be, sorry to spat on the camera. The proper reaction would be, well, what's your point? All kinds of people are rapists. I've heard, people say about, like not wanting to go to Thailand and go, oh, there's fucking paedophiles there. Like, oh, there's paedophiles there. It's like, there's fucking paedophiles everywhere, you twat. There's paedophiles everywhere. Like, do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? It's like, well, all right, what's your point? Good luck. What are you going to do? Do you know what I mean? But you can see how saying that, how people take it the wrong way and blah, 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 blah. Obviously, because it's like, come on, what are you saying, bruv? Calm down. So, yeah, that's something. The whole thing, go back to your own country, could have been worded better. But this, you are fucking reaching. Do you know what I mean? You are reaching. Well, Baltimore is a predominantly black city, so that's what she's going to go on about, obviously. But even if it was a city that was like 20% black, they'd make a point of that, going, oh, he means the blacks. Like, it would. It just would, This is why I'm just call bullshit on it. I'm just like, oh, just shut up, man. Like, I'm not, I'm just not feeling it. No. Whether Ebola-stricken West Africa in 2014, Atlanta in 2017, home to more African American graduates than any other city, sanctuary cities in 2018, with their offer of safe harbour for undocumented migrants, or the squad for progressive congresswomen, all Americans, all women of colour. We know your talking points. Whom Trump said should go back to their crime-infested places in which, in his imagination, they belong. Now he describes Baltimore City, with proportionately one of the highest African American populations in the US, as a disgusting rat and rodent-infested mess. Holding the respected black congressman who represents the district, Elijah Cummings, responsible. As usual, the people most affected by Trump's escalation of racist rhetoric, black and brown Americans, have been doing the work of explaining why Trump's words carry racial undertones. A CNN anchor who grew up in Baltimore broke down on air. A lot of people get up and go to work there. They care for their families there. They love their children, who pledge allegiance to the flag, just like people who live in districts of congressmen who support you, sir. They are Americans too. But you never, like, you're fucking mental. He said it's a rat-infested shithole. He's sparring with a geezer. He's sparring, having a back and forth with a geezer, just going, oh yeah? Well, how come your city's a fucking a disgusting rat and rodent infested mess? Yeah? How'd you like that, you fucking prick? How about you sort your shit out before you start talking about me sorting my shit out, yeah? Get your house in order before we start criticising, throwing stones around. Do you see what I'm saying? How about that? But oh no. Because the geezer's black. It's a predominantly black city. Then they're like, see? And it's like, oh my god, will you stop it already? It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing now. It's embarrassing. It's like with the whole ASAP Rocky thing. It's like he's stepping in to do it, and everyone's like, he's damned if he does, damned if he doesn't. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. His intentions, I just don't care. Really don't care. I really don't care. Maybe he's doing it just because he fucking hates Sweden. I wouldn't be surprised. So it's maddening, and it's moving to watch Blackwell feel compelled to explain after Trump described Baltimore as a place no human being would want to live. But his friends and family are indeed human. No human. Like, you're just making assumptions. The guy just talks. I mean, maybe he doesn't do himself no favors. Like, we're like, oh, so they're not human. It's like people are just. This is why the whole triggered thing became a thing, isn't it? Because literally you can't say anything about someone going, oh, what's that mean? Like, everyone is an angry short man. Like, all of them, all these people that get triggered, they're angry short people. Angry short man. Anything that goes over their head, they're like, what the fuck do you mean by that, cunt? And then they start kicking off. Like, no one likes angry short man. No one does. No one likes the angry short man. So why are you acting like angry short men? It's mental to me. I think as black people, we keep having to defend our humanity because accompanying the racism that is revealing itself to be central plank of Trump's re-election strategy, the president insists he is not racist. Being racist while saying you are not racist is the modern phenomenon of the modern age. The modern phenomenon of the modern age. It's the same story on both sides of the Atlantic. Boris Johnson's choice of racist slurs mirrors the Trumpian playbook when he described Africans as AIDS-ridden or published comments about people of Caribbean heritage multiplying like flies, connotations of infestation were equally clear. One of Johnson's first acts as Prime Minister was to bring back Zach Goldsmith, whose mayoral campaign even senior Tories denounced, loaded as it was with Islamophobic rhetoric that attempted to link Sadiq Khan to Islamic extremism. What, a politician playing dirty? I've never heard such a thing. Crudely stereotyping British Indians? I know nothing about this. Not only that, but Johnson turned a key architect. Oh, I'm bored with you already. Trump and Johnson's claim not to be racist is irrelevant. No one ever admits to being racist anymore. Trump, for instance, has gone to the trouble of, here we go, interspersing his racist Twitter timeline with support for the rapper ASAP Rocky. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. So it goes on. It's immaterial because being not racist is a meaningless claim. Neither Trump nor Johnson seems to understand that being not racist is not and has never been the opposite of being racist. Oh, God, Jesus Christ. I'm bored of this. It's like if someone says, right, I want you to say, are you a racist? I say, no, I'm not racist. Yeah, but you wouldn't say it anyway. It's like, I think it's reached a point now where you're going to have a whole generation coming. This is what you got to be careful about. There's a whole generation coming up who don't give a fuck. The Generation Z, and I've warned about this before. And I think the Generation Z are going to go hammer and fit, like, going to go hard on this sort of shit and just go, I think they'll just be going around just proudly declaring themselves as racists. I really do. Because everyone, like, just everyone says it, innit? Everyone just says it's just racism gets thrown around way too casually now. People are too casual to accuse people of racism now. You know what I mean? You know, and you just make assumptions about what everyone says and assumptions of what people mean. And obviously this is, you know, it's just, oh, that whole border thing. Well, migrants. Right.